Hello folks, LA Little here with TA Today. I'm recording this on February 22nd, 2025. I'm going to look at the MAG stocks. I'm going to look at them because they're like an anchor on this market right now. And market can't get going as a result. And there's a good possibility that they could drag this thing lower. Now, if you just take it from a high level here, just looking at it, right? First of all, this is the Round Hill Magnificent 7. So it's the 7 most widely popular large cap tech stocks out there. They're equally weighted, so they each get roughly 14.5% or so in the ETF. And what I want you to notice here is this thing is just trailing off right on the daily time frame. And if you draw a line at the bottom, it's kind of an important line here because A just broke a swing point low. It's got another one here that it's trying to break. And there was one, I was going to say this one, but that one actually isn't one. So it's really those two. The main point here is that when you look at it here, direction is down on the short-term time frame. If I go over to weekly time frame, if it does break this area, which right now is just a consolidation zone, right? It's just consolidating here. If it does break that, you have some support here at the bottom of this, which is where that green area is showing you, but you also have the potential to push back to this bullish retest region, which hasn't been tested. This is going to be the sweet spot to try to pick up, whether you buy the ETF or you go inside of it and you buy some of those stocks inside of it. That's the sweet spot. That's where it should get bought. That's a very high probability. Now from here, where it is today, to there is roughly, what is that, roughly $5 or so on a 50. So you're talking about 8-9%. So that's a significant pullback on the ETF. But as you can see, this thing has been a rocket shot, right? Just straight up. And so to get a retrace, just like you saw here, is probably going to be a good opportunity to get into these things. So let's look inside this and see what's happening. And we'll just take them in order. Apple. The first thing I want to do is on each of these is scan the retest, not the retest, but the MTTFs. This one's about 68%, so not too extended. Can extend more on the weekly time frame, which means it could go up and try and test that top again. Came back, retest regen. What was the low there? 227, 22. Yeah, so it actually held. So this is the retest regen. In other words, it comes back, it retests, and sees whether or not it wants to try and regenerate higher. In this case, it has regenerated higher. It's back over that. And that means it can make itself up to the top. Now, what you really don't want to see is you don't want to see it come back in here. That would be a second test. Second test, a lot lower probabilities on regenerating again if that happens. So that's a no-no. It doesn't mean it will break down, but it certainly isn't the ideal case. Long term looks fine. If I look at the bullish ABCDs out here, I've got to confirm one here. Actually, you got 3 of them, there and there. So 260, 194 gets you over this high. So actually, if these that are in play, right, if these actually get hit, which once they're in play, they have a decent chance of getting hit when they're on multiple time frames like they are and overlapping, which they are. So this looks bullish, and so I think there's a good chance this thing could go up, hit new highs. Amazon. Looking at Amazon, what's going on with it? Looking over here, not extended, so that can move farther either direction. It's right back at the lows that it had previously, so it hasn't broken yet. This has been retested once already, so again, you wouldn't want to see it come back into that. And this one down here has been tested as well, so This one, could get some momentum to the downside if it were to do that. If we go over and look at the monthly, you got a breakout here that was retested already, breakout here that actually broke down. So yeah, Amazon not nearly as clean, if you will, as what you see on Apple. And if I go over here, all I have is one on the long term that's confirmed. I don't have the nested ones. So Amazon, much more of a question mark. Google, looking at Google here now. Google had a pretty good run back up. If you remember, I've done some videos on this before, and Google was one of the weaker ones at the time, then started to gain. Here's the retest regen, broke it. So you made new highs, you come back, you retest this, and you can't hold it. So that is a failure. That says that what was up, now sideways at best, potentially down. Looking at it on the monthly, nothing there. That's alarming. And here you got this gap down, and now continuation down, right, breaking into here and closing this gap, or at least attempting to. If I look over here, bearish, bullish, neither one extended. So Google to me looks like a sideways move at best. Meta had been on a huge run, and now it's getting a little bit of a setback. You can see this water run, 88 to 688. That's about as good as it gets in a mega gap, right? That is a tremendous run. So it looks to me like this thing is going to try and take a bit of a pause. Very extended, right? Look at the numbers over here, 99.9. This thing needs to take a pause, needs to break a swing point low, which is down here right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see eventually that take place. And what do we got over here? ABCDs, confirmed suspect with higher numbers still, 274. Excuse me. That's the C price. Where's my D targets? I was looking at the wrong ones here. D targets right there. 1016. So that's a long way up on both of these, right? But I think those numbers, they're both long term. I think those numbers come much later. We're talking about monthlies there. So pullback maybe goes into some sort of a sideways consolidation just as a result of being so overbought. Okay, Microsoft. Now this has been the weakest one. 20% here on the bullish, so that's not bad. But when I look at the chart, big gap down, never could get back into it, and now trying to break down again on the daily. Go to the weekly. This one is just about ready to break another swing point low. If I look at this and just kind of like take the tops, looks like from about here down to about there. That's the majority of what's in there. That's kind of a range, right? This was a false breakout, as was this, and so were these on the downside. So most of the trading over the last year has been in this range. You don't want to see it break down and get follow through. If you're wanting to be long this, which most people are, and what you really want is you want it to get up and over and get follow through, which it so far has been unable to do. If I look over here, look at the ABCD structures, we actually have confirmed here and a confirmed there. So you got a target 382 and long-term 517. 382 just gets you, oh, that's bearish, right? Yeah, that's a bearish one. So you got a confirmed, so this is mixed. Long-term still looks fine is what it's telling you. Short-term wants to go lower. In a range, to get to 382 would be right at the bottoms, right? Trying to break these swing point lows. If that comes to fruition, that's not good, right? If it breaks them, of course. But right now, you just got one heading down. Mixed picture, still a sideways range. NVDA, now this one has earnings coming out this week. Had a huge gap down, right? And now it's just filled it on the daily. Bullish, these are not overextended yet. You're overextended on the long term. consolidation taking place there. Eventually you need a break of a swing point low, but monthlies can go very long, very extended, which this one's already doing. If I look at it here on the weekly, this one's basically been in a trading range too, from about there. Yeah, not really, not clean. It's not a clean range. Way to the downside here. So this just looks like consolidation, and you got earnings out. Earnings going to be big. Does it pop to the top side, or are they already in the price given how much this thing has ran over the years? 2022, this thing, October 2022, which was what, 3 years ago plus? You were trading at roughly $10, $11, and now you're at $130. That's a pretty big run. Just like Meta, a little bit better. Okay, so NVIDIA, toss up. Don't know which way it's going to go. If it breaks and breaks topside, you're going to get a nice run out of it, right? Because it's been consolidating here for a good 6-7 months. If you break to the downside, you're probably going to find support down in this area again. At least an attempt to buy it somewhere down in here. I would be looking hard at buying it if it wanted to go down there. So what does that mean to me when I look at all these? Oh, well, we got one more. Let's do Tesla. Tesla is the only one that shows up in our breakout. Let me pull this over. Our breakout report over on TA Today. If you come in here and look at it and go down, let me just find it, TSLA. It's the only one, and it's on a daily, and it's bearish. So it's the only one of the MAG7s, which kind of tells you that they haven't been leading, right? If anything, they're starting to lag. Now Tesla, nothing extended here, but if I go look at here, the reason it shows up on the breakout is because it's within the 10-day ATR of that low. And notice that low and this low are congruent. So if you break those, you can get a continuation lower. In this case, I could take you all the way back to here. There's not much between here and there. You've got support at this area. If I look at it on a weekly, that's roughly 326 to 8, 6 to 9. That's right in this area. Tesla is going to be a tough stock to hold if it breaks that 325 area. So that one on the doorstep of a more bearish move to the downside. Now, going back to the wrap up here. So what does it mean, right? Well, if we go back through it, this is a plus. Amazon is a sideways at best. Google was more or less sideways. Meta, more or less, is still bullish, right? But just extension makes you think sideways. So this was bullish. If we go to Microsoft, basically sideways. NVIDIA still sideways, but this is a big question mark given the earnings report. And this one is pointing sideways to down. So very mixed picture, right? Mostly sideways is what we have. And what is MAG's doing? Well, kind of sideways, right? That's what you see here. Place to be. Is it going to help the markets? Going to hurt them? Hard to say, but not something that is going to lead these markets anytime soon, it appears. More consolidation to do unless NVIDIA really takes off, which I kind of doubt will be the case. That's it for this one. Have a great one. Take care.